How to properly prepare garlic for maximum heart protection. Crushing versus slicing. The mistake. You've been preparing your garlic all wrong, and it's costing you the most important heart health benefits. Slicing might look pretty, but you are leaving the most potent cardiovascular protectors locked inside the cells. If you don't crush it and wait exactly 10 minutes, you are essentially neutralizing the medicine. The visual hook. Look at this whole clove of garlic sitting on the cutting board. Right now it is doing almost nothing for your body. No smell to speak of, no sharp bite, and almost none of the compound your body actually benefits from. Now watch what happens the moment I crush it. That sharp smell hitting you right now is not just flavor. That is a chemical reaction happening in real time, and it only exists because I physically broke this clove open. This is not unique to garlic either. Onions, leeks, and shallots all belong to the same plant family and rely on this exact same mechanism. But garlic is the one most people get wrong most often because it is usually treated as an afterthought, tossed in whole or barely sliced right at the start of cooking, which is precisely the worst way to prepare it if you actually want the health benefit. The paradox explained. Here's the part that surprises people. A whole uncut clove of garlic is basically biologically inert. It contains a compound called alliin, which by itself does very little. Garlic also contains a separate enzyme called alliinase, but in a whole clove. These two are kept apart, stored in different cell compartments, like two chemicals sitting in separate rooms, never interacting. The moment you crush, chop, or crack that clove, you physically rupture the cell walls, and for the first time, alliin and alliinase come into contact with each other. That reaction produces a compound called allicin, the sharp-smelling, biologically active substance responsible for most of garlic's reputed health benefits. This means the health value of garlic is not really about the clove itself. It is about what you physically do to it before it hits the pan. Slice it and you get a small amount of allicin since the exposed surface area is limited. Crush it and you rupture far more of the internal cell structure, producing significantly more of the active compound. Toss it in whole and you are getting almost none of it since the reaction barely has a chance to start. Even the tool you use matters. A knife slicing cleanly through a clove severs relatively few cell walls compared to the flat side of a knife blade crushing it, or a garlic press forcing it through small holes. The more mechanical damage to the cell structure, the more contact between alliin and alliinase, and the more allicin you end up producing. The hidden benefit: most people lose. Now here's where most home cooks accidentally waste all of this. Allicin is unstable. It breaks down fast and it's especially sensitive to heat. So if you crush your garlic and immediately throw it straight into a hot pan, that reaction barely gets time to fully happen before the heat starts destroying the very compound you just created. You've done the physical work of breaking the cell walls and then undone it in the same motion. The fix that almost nobody knows: after crushing or chopping garlic, let it sit for about 10 minutes at room temperature before cooking it. This resting window gives the allicin reaction time to fully develop before heat gets involved, which several studies link to better preservation of garlic's cardiovascular support properties, including its effects on blood pressure and circulation. And this matters beyond just the pan. Garlic supplements sold in stores vary wildly in how they are processed, and some manufacturing methods destroy allicin content before the product ever reaches a shelf. That is part of why research on garlic and heart health has produced mixed results over the years. The studies are not always measuring the same thing because the garlic itself was not prepared the same way. It is a completely free change at home though. It costs you nothing but 10 minutes of patience, and it may be the single easiest health upgrade sitting in your kitchen right now. No supplement, no special ingredient, just timing. So let's boil all of that down into one clear picture. Allicin only activates when we rupture garlic's cellular walls, triggering an enzymatic reaction that transforms inert compounds into potent cardiovascular protectors. Slicing preserves the structure, but crushing maximizes the sulfur-rich molecules that relax blood vessels. And that 10-minute resting window we mentioned is not optional if you actually want the benefit. It is the required stabilization period these enzymes need before heat enters the picture at all. So the takeaway so far, it is not just whether you eat garlic, it is how you break it open and how long you let it sit before it hits the heat. Two people can eat the exact same amount of garlic, prepared two different ways, and walk away with completely different levels of benefit. One is getting a real cardiovascular boost. The other is basically just getting flavor, and that is just the first hidden variable. Next, we are going to look at exactly how different cooking methods, raw, sautéed, roasted, and boiled, change how much of this benefit actually survives onto your plate, and which method is quietly destroying almost all of it before it ever reaches you.